It took 3 chords to make Interstellar the absolute masterpiece that it is. Now, Interstellar is one of my favorite movies from the past 10 years. I saw it in IMAX, and I remember when the credits rolled, we sat there just in silence for a couple minutes, and I just remember getting up and being like, well, what do we do now? It was such a crazy experience hearing this for the first time, and that is in absolutely no small part thanks to the incredible soundtrack by Hans Zimmer. Let's check it out. The layering of the organ. Almost sounds like there's a line in there that's kind of like, which when you permutate that against the 3, yeah, something like that. There's a line going on there in the organ, but all the while it's building up some usage of like a 16th note line, climbing, creating that build up throughout the entire piece. Oh my God, it just keeps going. It keeps going and it keeps building. And this is actually what I want to talk about, because check this out. Harmony-wise, there are 3 chords going on here, and that is it. In this particular case, we are in the key of A minor. So we start F major 7. This is a G, but we also kind of hear that too. So you could look at it as a G major, you could kind of look at it as an E minor over G, something in that space, but it's all kind of the same thing, and I'll show you why. To that A minor, and it just climbs back down. The entire soundtrack is pretty much just this. Now, there are some exceptions, but we hear this theme throughout the entire film in some way, shape, or form. Because of its simplicity, it applies to so many different things. We can hear it in a soft, somber way, but it can also be used in this build-up way where it's really big and we're adding things to it, we're adding instruments to it constantly, and we're just arriving at this place. Now, here's what I mean by arriving at this place. This is what's so cool about this particular chord progression. The fact that we're using these 3 chords over and over again, it allows the soundtrack to work in a very different way from perhaps some more, maybe what you might consider conventional movie scoring. Hey, if you're looking to finally start something new for the new year, our Intro to Piano course is currently 50% off for a limited time. And that makes it just $69.
Nice.
You don't need a code or anything. There's a link in the description below. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. This is one of the things that I think makes Hans Zimmer so incredible is we have these 3 chords, right? And think about what's happening. Every time we go like this, what did those 3 chords just do for your ear? It's a complete statement, musically speaking. From the harmonic perspective, we have this, which until we add something else to it, well, it's just a chord that's sitting there. But then we climb up and we're like, we're going somewhere, and we expect it to go right here. It finally gives us that. Every time we play, that is a resolution. It's complete. We don't need to go anywhere further for our ears to feel satisfied that we've arrived somewhere. You could look at the entirety of the Interstellar soundtrack as a series of resolutions. But it's what Hans Zimmer does within those resolutions that creates one of the most suspenseful soundtracks. It's kind of ironic, right? Because we have this whole string of resolutions. It's just flat 6, Flat 7, minor 1. That's what we're doing this whole time. But because of how he constructs it, because of how the instrumentation works, how the development of ideas and the dynamics work, this is where the soundtrack derives all of its suspense. Right here, we hear the organ come in with a phrase of 12 notes. It's a couple different phrases melodically, but it's phrases of 12 notes representing the 12 hours on the clock, right? And we're still hanging on to our root note here. We're creating more and more tension, and we're about to release that tension and finally leave this note. There we go. We finally get our 3 chords. But you can see what we've done to add the suspense. We've used a combination of instrumentation and dynamics and adding motion within the lines. We have a lot of quicker lines that are going on up here. Who knows exactly what they are, but they're lines that kind of create motion along with the buildup of adding instrument layers on top of everything. And we have this big entrance finally releasing from this chord that we've been sitting on the whole time thus far, creating this tension. We get our 3-chord theme that we've heard throughout the entirety of the rest of the soundtrack. It's an incredible way to take 3 chords, literally just... And one of the reasons why this works so well is because when we look at the scales that accompany those 3 chords, we find out that it's all the same notes. Those 3 chords, we don't really change anything. Like if we played... That works. That works too. That also works. It uses the exact same scale for every chord. That's it. That's what we're using here. That's why this is so concise and it works so well, and we can sit on those chords. That's why our melody we have this one note being held out through the entirety of that chord progression. It's because these 3 chords use the same notes for everything. So clearly we're not deriving our suspense and our buildup from the harmony. That's something that we might see in a John Williams composition. I mean, if we just look at Star Wars, for example, we can have vastly different energies that are being created by the harmony here. So for example, we have like something like that, and then on the flip side, we can create a very low energy harmony by like Whereas with Interstellar, we have changed nothing necessarily about the harmony or the melody. We can have it be played a little more intense, or we can go. And we hear it played that way several times throughout the movie. Organ melody still going on in the background there. Here it comes again. 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. A little different this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Second phrase. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Here we go. Now we're starting to add more motion. Oop, there's our... We're gonna hear our flat 6 chord. Still hanging out on the 1 chord. Building the tension with volume, with dynamics, with adding motion, with adding instrumentation. There's our C, D, back to our 1 chord. Same 3 chords as the rest of the movie. Even if we're holding out a bass note. Listen to that motion. Woo! Building with volume, building with dynamics, building with instrumentation, adding layers. Motion. We don't have to do it with harmony. We can do it with this. Come on. It's just amazing how, like, things don't need to be harmonically complex in order to convey the emotions that you're trying to derive, whether it's a film or just your work in general. And at no point, as an audience member, do you question the fact that the chords haven't really gone anywhere. Because while the chords have not gone anywhere, the music certainly has. And to go back to what I was saying at the beginning of the video about this being resolution after resolution after resolution, when we have this, we feel like it's been resolved. So what's really interesting about it is we are ironically using resolutions to build tension. We're giving you the resolution every single time. It is flat 6, flat 7, minor 1, every single time. That's what we're getting. Or we're just sitting right at home for the entirety of the duration. It feels like something is brewing through each of these pieces, through each of these parts of the movie, but we're not using any tension to accomplish this. Amazing. That's what I was saying earlier about how, like, yes, that G chord, we could kind of consider, is it G major straight up, or is it like E minor with the G in the bass, or is it like a G6? And to be honest, I don't think it even matters, because it's the overall sound of these notes. As we said, it's the same. So it almost doesn't even matter whether you're calling it G major, G6, or E minor. Call it whatever you want. The harmony is exactly the same as these 3 chords that we've been using this entire soundtrack. There is more than one way to write a movie score. You don't have to write these incredible, elaborate orchestral compositions that we often see from people like John Williams. And Hans Zimmer has been an absolute pioneer at showing us these opportunities, right? And not only just the harmony that he used in the Interstellar soundtrack, but also the instrumentation. I mean, when have we ever heard a pipe organ in this context? When have we ever heard a pipe organ used like this in a movie score? To use the organ in this context, what a brilliant decision. Absolutely one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. Hey, it's a brand new year, and if you're looking to finally start learning something new, if you've been thinking about learning to play the piano for a long time now is your chance. Our Intro to Piano course is currently 50% off for a limited time. You don't need a code or anything like that. Just use the link in the description and go get 50% off that course. It includes everything you need to get started. It'll take you from never even having played this instrument before to understanding what all of this is, how to use it, how to make your fingers do piano things, strings, and how to understand some basics about music so that you will be well equipped to learn how to play anything that you want to play. There are tons of detailed instructional videos with countless exercises and actionable steps and examples, as well as downloadable resources so that you can work at this at your own pace as long as you need to get through it in the comfort of your own home. So you don't need to worry about giving up on your New Year's resolutions already, because you get access to the course for life when you purchase it. Once again, that's 50% off. That makes the course just $69 for a limited time, so take advantage of that at the link in the description below while you can. And guys, that's the best way that you can support the channel so that we can continue doing what we love to do here, which is creating this content for you guys. So thank you very much for your support, and we will see you in the next video.